Hey y'all, it's Morgan and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to take you along as I live my life. I'm currently about 9.5 months post-op from my hysterectomy, and for the first time in years I have some consistency to my day-to-day life, so I'm trying to build in some habits that I want to do every day. I'm very privileged and fortunate to have a partner that makes enough money for the both of us to live off of, so I don't need to spend my renewing energy on being productive. So I'm really gonna take advantage of that and just do the things that fill my cup, and then I'll worry about being productive later, because that's just not important to me right now. So as I'm trying to figure out my life and build it back together, there are 3 things that I'm focusing on right now, and that is reading, movement, and doing some kind of art. And as long as I do a little bit of that every day, then I'm good. Anything else is extra, is bonus. But if being sick has taught me anything, it's the importance of taking care of yourself and filling your cup before you do other things. So that's what I'm doing right now. Alright, so let's get started with the day a few hours ago. I am not a morning person. Lately I've been getting up somewhere between 10 and 1 depending on when I go to sleep and how well I slept. And it takes me a little while to get out of bed, so I like to have my phone nearby to help me wake up. A little mindless scrolling does the trick. If I do nothing, I will go back to sleep. And I usually have a cat somewhere nearby. This one's Yzma. She's the most likely to be with me when I wake up. And then I lay in bed until I need to use the bathroom and, do my business. And then it's time to greet the rest of the animals.
Hello! Where are you going? Hello, little baby. Where are you going? He's a cutie pie. Hello!
And now it's time to greet the rest of the cats. This is Lucy. Usually in the morning he is most interested in checking out the other cats' bowls.
He's Jasper.
And this is Jasper. He's a stray we took in like February. He's a very sweet boy, very cute. The animals add a lot of structure and purpose to my day, which really helps keep me going. And then the last of my kitties is usually snoozing downstairs.
Is that Kiki?
Kiki is the oldest of the bunch. She is about 14 years old. I've had her since she was a few weeks old. Like I mentioned in the intro, these past few weeks I've been prioritizing 3 habits. And today I'm going to start by reading outside on the patio for a bit since the weather is nice. I started this book on the day I filmed and I finished it while editing. And it was a pretty good book, a little bit dense. I just finished a fantasy series before starting this, so it was definitely a change of pace for me. But I like to switch between nonfiction and fantasy to balance each other out. Sometimes I want to learn things, and other times I want to be transported to a different world. Just kind of depends on how I'm feeling. And some days I'll read for 10 minutes, and other days I'll read for like 4 or 5 hours. It all just depends on the day. But even if I just get a few pages read, I'm really proud of myself. Since I'm bringing you along for the day, I figured I would change my clothes, add my pajamas, although most days I usually just stay in my pajamas. But no matter what, it's always comfy clothes. Another one of the habits that I want to establish is doing some kind of movement daily, and this looks different every day depending on how I'm feeling. My back, hips, and thighs are usually the worst and get really tight, so that's usually what I start with. And I use the couch for some support, and I just kind of move around and do what feels good, and eventually things start to loosen up. And I do pretty much all of this standing. I don't really like to get on the ground. And this might not look like much, but it's a lot more than I used to be able to do, and I hope that I continue to see progress as I continue to get stronger and hopefully gain more range of motion. I feel like I've noticed a big difference in the past few weeks since I've been trying to incorporate intentional movement into my days. I feel like it helps my pain and my overall stiffness, and yeah, I've only seen good things from it, although some days I do get a little too excited and do a little too much, and then I'm usually a bit more tired or sore the next day from pushing a little too far too fast. And as I get nice and warmed up, I tend to move away from the couch and do some other stretches. And by the way, this video is in 4x speed. I do all of this pretty slow and feel it out. The goal here is not cardio. It is to just try to move my body in different ways and feel it out. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet a minute so you can just kind of see what I'm doing, and maybe you can get some ideas for how to stretch for yourself. I'm not like a professional, I'm just showing you what is working for me right now and to maybe give you some ideas of what might work for you. But keep in mind that whatever you do to one side, you should do to the other side, and if it hurts, don't do it. And then usually by the end of stretching, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm doing a little happy dance. Also, I count dancing as movement. Doesn't have to just be stretching. Dancing is another way that I like to move about. And can we appreciate for a second the fact that my ribs are not just popping out anymore? I've gained about 10 pounds and there's some muscle in there. And look at my arm. I used to try my hardest to flex and you could see nothing move. There was just no muscle happening. But look, there's little contractions. And yeah, maybe it's not like, oh, I'm the strongest person ever. But you know what? I'm stronger than I used to be and I'm excited about that. And I might as well show you my weaker arm. You can see I have to put more effort in to flex it. My left side's just overall a little bit weaker, so I'm working on that. But there's still some muscle action happening. Now I've worked up a bit of an appetite. I usually don't eat until later in the day. The morning is when I'm most likely to feel kind of blah, so I just kind of wait for my body to send me some hungry signals. Lately, I've been having banana with sunflower butter and some cinnamon, and it's been so satisfying and consistently sits well with my stomach. Since the weather is really nice, I'm gonna sit outside on the patio again and enjoy my little meal.
Hi, Isma.
And then when I was enjoying my food and sitting with my thoughts, a sudden wave of grief hit me. And so I had a bit of a cry. Part of healing my nervous system is allowing my body to feel all of the feels whenever they come up. So I decided to leave this part in because it's an honest reflection of what my life is like right now. Then I calmed down and finished my food, and then I decided to go check out the garden for a bit. I recently read a book, Everything is Always Changing by Mindfully Evie, and I made a video about it if you want to check that out. But it's about this person's journey of recovery after being really sick from chronic illness and venturing back into the world and regaining strength and all that kind of comes with that territory. And I resonated a lot with the different things that she talked about, but something that was really relevant for me today is that with the joy of regaining your abilities comes the grief that you weren't able to process when you were in survival mode, when you were just trying to get through the days. And I find that the grief hits the hardest when I am feeling a lot of joy. Like today, filming this vlog has really helped me realize how far I've come in the past 9-ish months, which just brought up a lot of emotions. Usually by this point in the day, I'm pretty tired, so I'll sit down in my comfy spot and chill for a bit and sometimes nap. And I usually have a cuddle buddy. Today I made some notes in my bullet journal, and I'm not very consistent with this, but I try my best. Then I watched a bit of YouTube to calm my mind for a bit, and then I took a little nappy nap to recharge before continuing on with the day. And now that my batteries are recharged, it's time to cook some dinner. I don't cook dinner every night, but I've been doing it a couple times a week for the past few weeks, which is the most consistent I've cooked in years. I cooked a few times earlier in my recovery, but it usually resulted in a pain flare, so I didn't really do it often. Now I stick to pretty simple recipes and use frozen veggies, which makes cooking a lot easier for me. If I use fresh veggies, then my husband helps me prep and cut because my arms still aren't quite strong enough for me to do it, and it'll just take me forever and make me very tired. For this meal, I used a simple stir-fry sauce recipe that I found on the internet. I will link it down below. And I like to make the sauce before I get things cooking because I get easily overwhelmed when everything is happening all at once or I feel rushed. Tonight we're having jasmine rice with carrots, peas, and sesame ginger tofu, and of course stir-fried in the sauce it was made. Then Zach and I like to chill and watch some TV while we eat. Then around 10:30, it's time to feed the animals their last meal of the day. And this is the time that Appa gets to come out and roam the room a little bit. He loves this part of the day.
Hello, buddy.
And I clean up Appa's pen a little bit. He gets most of his poop in the litter box, but he needs some help. And then I refill his hay. He likes to watch me. What he's really looking for is the foraging treats that I put in when I give him fresh hay. And he gets a salad every night, although this one's a little bit sad. And then there was some laundry on the bed that needed done before Zach could go to sleep. Once the animals are taken care of and Zach is asleep, I like to go back to my comfy spot and sketch a bit. I'm a night owl, and nighttime is when I feel the most creative. I've been trying to sketch daily, and sometimes I use a reference and sometimes I don't. I'm really just trying to build up muscle memory and get a feel for sketching and proportions and line strokes. I'm very proud of the sketches that I've been doing and the progress that I've seen, and I'm just really happy that I'm able to sketch somewhat consistently because I used to hardly ever sketch for a lot of reasons, and now I feel more at ease doing it, and like just flipping through showing you guys what I've been doing, like it doesn't even seem like I've made this many, but I've been doing this pretty consistently for a few weeks now. Now that Kiki is situated, I'm gonna turn on some Netflix and get started sketching. Lately, I've been using colored pencils to sketch, which I find makes sketching more enticing than just a regular gray pencil, and just like adds a little extra zhuzh to something simple. And I like to start with a really easy warm-up, which is just making a gradient. It just helps get my wrist warmed up and makes making marks on the page less intimidating. Since I'm drawing a face, I'm going to start by lightly drawing a circle, and then I'm going to map out the rest of it from there. And I am using a reference for this one, so you can see my eyes going back and forth, constantly comparing between my sketch and the reference. I ended up just mapping it out and getting the base structure there in this one sitting, and I finished it the next day. I'm very happy with how this sketch came out, and I love it even more because it's purple. Then lastly, I like to watch some cartoons and play Best Fiends until sleep comes a-knockin'. Thank you so much for joining me today, and if you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. I'll see you again soon in the next one. Bye!